Hey folks, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. This is an interesting video. It starts out one way and then sort of takes a left turn and ends in a very different way. So we definitely encourage you to watch the whole thing. Um, it's fascinating and it's our reality. So let us know what you think. Hope you enjoy it. So on Thursday, March 28th was the Dodgers home opener for the 2024 season. And as standard, there's a flyover for the home opener. It was an afternoon game, and this year it was a KC-135 Stratotanker and 3 or 4 F-15s. And this is what those planes look like. The Stratotanker is a big, beefy plane, and they're all loud. But before the flyover, they did some circles around LA, and this is what that looked like. So the game was at 1 or 105 or 110 or something, and so in the 12 o'clock hour, these planes are doing this. And so we took a little video, not much, maybe a minute total, and we wanted to show you some of what we found. So that happened. So did that. And again, these planes are actually moving, but it doesn't look like they're moving just because these things are going so fast. But and we're kind of flying through these because, it's, I mean, you kind of seen one, you've seen them all, but this is a little interesting because there's a couple fast ones, and then that white light thing. Anyway, this first one goes right by the plane, and you can see there's other stuff going on in there. I'm just sort of touching on the basics. And then this other one comes from the bottom and shoots across. But then, like I said, this white thing kind of flutters out, and it does look like a jellyfish, to be honest with you. We'll get a little closer here in a minute, but and again, these planes are actually moving quite fast, but you know, compared to these other things, they look like they're frozen in space, which is really weird. Um, yeah. And obviously that last one was just super fast, but this is trippy. This one basically hovered in the flight line and waited. And you can see it. I mean, it's literally just waiting. And it was just hovering in space, basically. And that's what is the most interesting one for us here, because it's not a fast mover, it's a hoverer. And it got us thinking and got us looking at some other things. So check this out. This is not in California, and it wasn't on Thursday, March 28th, but watch this. So there's a fast flyer there you see right at the end. And this is what it looks like in slow-mo. It's only in 2 frames, so I mean, what are you going to do, you know? But this is what's interesting, is look at underneath this. It's not a fast flyer, and it's fluttering. And we slow it down, and we look at it, and it's just behaving oddly. And it is mindful of that last one that was just hovering. But we get even closer, and it looks like it separates. It kind of blinks in and out. I mean, it's just different, right? And sure, it's easy to say, oh, it's an artifact of the camera and blah, blah, blah. And maybe it is, but also maybe that's just lazy. And we happen to think it's not an artifact because of this. Now, we captured this footage last week, and it is very difficult to explain, but it's not behavior that we recognize from the natural world, at least not that we are aware of, put it that way. Whatever this is, it was separating. It was going from 3 to 2 to 1 to 3. And it reminded us very much of this behavior, which is why we don't think it's just an artifact of the camera. This is something that's going on in our world. And we caught it on camera, doing whatever it's doing. It's strange, it's kind of eerie, but like it or not, it's our reality. This is happening in our world right now. So yeah, like we said before, the video took a turn, right? But you know, we were fortunate enough to find that stealth bomber footage, and then obviously recognize the behavioral similarities with the footage we captured recently. These things splitting up and blipping in and out and morphing, and you know, it seems to me that the only thing to do now is acknowledge it and then study it and gather all the data and look at it and think about it and talk these things out. I mean, that's the only adult thing to do, really. I mean, you can pretend like it's not happening and all that stuff, but that doesn't advance the issue, doesn't advance the topic or our understanding of it or our understanding of our place in the universe. All these big questions are out there waiting for people to think about it and talk about it. But the precondition of doing all that is acknowledging that this is the situation. You know, this is the reality. And why we're able to capture these videos, I don't know. But it's why we also suggested from the outset that everybody start doing this. And this is why we're promoting the method and explaining how we're doing this. Because the more people capture footage like this, the more there will be to study. So, yeah, you know, I hope you enjoyed this. It's super fascinating. And let's get to work. Let's stop, you know, burying our heads in the sand, acknowledge what's going on, admit that we don't have it figured out, and let's just get to work, buckle up, and let's get to thinking. Take care, y'all.